Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope that everyone is well. Super excited to be here with everyone tonight. And I say everyone because right now we are streaming on multiple platforms on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on YouTube, on Facebook, multiple places on Facebook. And so I am just really excited to be here with you all today. And I am going to actually be streaming onto Instagram very shortly as well. So I wanted to just take a moment to check my tech and make sure that everything is good to go. Make sure that everyone everywhere can see me, and then we are going to get into it. All right. So, if you put any comments down below, right now I won't be able to see it. But however, I will be able to see it after I finish up. So, again, super excited. Let me see right here. All right, we're here. We're here. Just needed to make sure that we are on. All right, let me get on to Instagram too, because this is going to be juicy. So I'm just going to let you know, if you really want, if you're really ready to up level, make sure that you are go ahead and get your pen, get some notes out, because I'm really going to go all in this evening. I'm going all in, and right now I'm just going to get set up on Instagram, and then we will be good to go. Okay, so I definitely encourage you. Let me put my tripod up here. So much tech going on, but I encourage you to get some pen, to get a pen and get some paper or whatnot, so that you can take some notes. All right. And I'm going to pull this window out as well, just so I can see, have some kind of indication of what's going on Facebook and stuff. All right. So today I'm talking about self-publishing me and how I am 10xing my business in 2020 in 2025. I'm also going to be sharing some mindset shifts that I have had to make in order to, go to this next level. So I'm really excited about this topic because it's one, how did water get on my glasses? It's one that I really haven't talked about publicly before. And so if you're ready to go to another level, a lot of people say that they're ready to go to another level, but then they don't do the work required to go to that level, or they don't understand what going to the next level looks like, what it feels like, and the things that's required. And I know this because I work with leaders. I work with a lot of leaders and executives. And out front, people have it all together. They're put together, they look the part. But then when you get behind the scenes to start doing really, really deep work, there's a lot of what I call head like mindset trash holding them back. There's a lot of different things going on that's keeping people hidden. Like you're the best kept secret, and you have some things going on that's keeping you there. You're not making the revenue that you want to make, but you're also difficult to coach, or you don't follow instructions, all of those types of things, right? And so I really want to take a moment to talk about these things and really, really get into the weeds of what 10xing looks like, and what's required of you when you are truly ready to go to that next level. Because we all know that it doesn't just happen. Elevation doesn't just happen because you want it to. Elevation doesn't just happen because you hope and wish and pray. Elevation is an action. And whenever you're going to another level, there are some things that's going to be required of you. There are some changes that you have to make. Like, you literally cannot go to another level and do different things being the same way that you are right now, because it's a different school of thought that's required. There are different habits. There are different ways in which you must react and act in order to really, really make things make sense. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. One second, guys. I need to pause this. All right. So I wanted to pull that out on my other screen so that I could see the comments. All right. So I'm here today, and I'm really excited to dive deep into this. So my name, if you are new to me, and I have my notes over here. So if you see me looking over, I'm just really looking at my notes. So My name is 𝐏𝐻𝐿𝐬𝐡𝐞𝐝, and I'm so excited to be here with you all this evening. I help leaders and I help leaders, executives, and high earning entrepreneurs to write a new story and publish their next level life in business. And what I mean by this is that publishing is not limited to books, because anyone who's ever written a book will tell you that you have to do different things, you have to think in a different way, you have to process your ideas, and it really requires you to show up differently. It requires you to become a new person. And outside of the writing, right? Outside of the writing, we're talking about the market, we're talking about the brand development, we're talking about the business growth, right? It requires you to show up in ways that you haven't before. And whether you are at 50,000 trying to go to your first six figures, whether you're at 100,000 trying to go to your first $250,000, whether you're at your first $250,000 and your goal is to go to your first $500,000, 750, or your first $1,000,000, there are shifts at every single level that you have to make in order to not only get to the next level, but to sustain while you are there. Okay. This means that we are not just writing books, but we are writing and publishing thought leadership books. This means that we are building empires around our intellectual property using the book as the cornerstone and the foundation. So this means that you might start out with the book because that's going to help you to clarify your audience. That's going to help you to get clear on your topic. That's going to help you to clarify your message. And then you expand by transforming your book into signature talks, trainings, coaching programs, so on and so forth. Things that you can sell, offers that you can sell for 4, 5, and 6 figures. But even in order to step into that and become the type of person who does that, like, you don't just wake up and start, selling a $100,000 package. You don't just wake up and sell a $30,000 or a $50,000 package. There are shifts that you have to make. There's a way that you have to evolve. There's a new person that you have to become, not just in your business, but in your life. In your life, your mindset, understanding, and paying attention to how you respond to people, how you think about people, how you think about situations. When the unexpected happens, identifying your default response. And some of us, we have to change our default responses. Some of us, we have to change how we are. Like, I was working with one of my elite clients, and one of the things I love about working with the people that I work with is that I always learn new things, because they're leaders, they're experts, and they're coaches in their own right. And so I was, helping her to write her book, and she was just talking about when she was like in high school or college, and she was looked over for a promotion because she didn't smile enough, and she thought that it was extremely trivial that she didn't smile enough. But you know what? Smiling is personable. So you're going to actually see me smiling enough, because I'm smiling more, not just now, but through a lot of my content, because smiling is more personable. It's more inviting. And a lot of us will have that. Even when I was in high school, college, I had this attitude, well, this is just me. This is just how I look. What do you do? Do you expect me to just go around with a big smile on my face? Well, the truth is, why not? Why not have a smile on your face instead of going around with the rest and be face? Right? Like, let's just keep it all the way real. Why am I saying this? Because this is a part of something that I am choosing to change in my ascension to 10xing. Because you know what? People are a lot more, willing to listen to you when you give a sense of calmness, when you smile, when you're inviting. 10xing is going to require you to change yourself. It's going to require you to look at yourself. It's going to require you to analyze and assess yourself. And so one of the things that confirmed that, I was talking to my husband one day. He came in from work, had a long day, and I was in a funk about something. And he got irritated. This might be trivial. He got irritated. I wasn't more pleasant to him. And I said that same thing. Well, what do you expect me to do? I'm cooking, I'm this, I'm that, I'm da 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 da. And he said, yeah, but you do it for the camera. But what about when I come home? I said, oh, sometimes our husbands are right. I had to look at that thing, right? I had to look at this. That's why I said, you know what? I am going to practice smiling more. I'm going to practice being more inviting. So I'm going to smile a lot tonight. Why? Because I'm 10xing in all areas of my life. And when you 10x and when you want different results, it's going to require you to think differently. It's going to require you to show up differently. It's going to require you to change. And some of us aren't getting the results that we want because we simply refuse to change. Even though the way that we've been doing things hasn't been working, even though the way that we've been doing things might be working, but we want different results, that means that there's something that you're going to have to change to get the result, the different result that you desire. So let's talk about it. Self-publishing is not, when I say self-publishing me, or I'm helping you to self-publish, we're talking about becoming that next level version of yourself and accomplishing the goals that you have been placing on the back burner, accomplishing those things that you have been feeling is out of reach. So when I say self-publishing, I'm not just talking about books. This is about voice amplification. This is about showing up differently. This is about global expansion. This is about transforming your life and making life changing and business changing income. And so I sent out an email and I put up a notice saying, hey, I'm going to share with you guys some things that I'm actively doing to 10x my business, 10x in my business. All right. So if you're ready, put ready in the chat. If you're ready, put ready in the chat. Okay, finally, I can see the chat now. I'm using the different screen, different streaming tool. So I'm still learning it. So I can actually see the chat now. So this is exciting. All right. If you're ready, put ready in the chat. All right. You guys on Instagram are ready. What about y'all on Facebook? Are you all ready? Let me see what you guys got going on. Are you ready? All right. So let me give you guys a story. Let me give you guys a story. If you've paid attention to me and if you followed me for quite some time, primarily on Facebook or Instagram, then you know that I do a series of live trainings throughout the year. These trainings typically will last, they're multiple days, anywhere from 3 days, 5 days to 7 to 9 days, right? And for the past several years, I've done these trainings for absolutely free, where I would show up every single day. I would, provide very high level information, you workbooks, the whole nine, right? If any of you guys participated in any of my live trainings, a lot of you all have, and you might be in some of my programs or come to some of my events because you did, right? But for probably about the past 3 years, I was doing these live trainings every single month or every other month for absolutely free. I wasn't charging anything and I was showing up every single day, really pouring my heart out. And it wasn't my team. It wasn't giving fluff. It wasn't my team. It was me. It wasn't giving fluff information, giving real strategy. Right. And I sat down and I said, you know what? In 2025, I want to change some things. I want to 10x. I actually read this book called 10x is easier than 2x. And when I tell you it was a game changer, I listened to it on Audible while I was out running. And it was so good that I went and then ordered the paperback book. Any of you guys ever done that? Listen, started, with an audio book, and then it's just like, this is too good. I need the actual book. I need to put my eyes on the words. I need to go in and underline and annotate and highlight and all the things where that was me. And that book is somewhere over here. 10x is easier than 2x. It's by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy. It's by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. 10x is easier than 2x. It was an absolutely phenomenal book. And that really changed the way that I was thinking about some things. I read this book last year. So going into 2025, I said, you know what? I'm gonna 10x. I've 2x every year. But in 2025, I'm gonna 10x. And I said, I know that 10xing is going to require me to show up differently. It's going to require me to own some things. It's going to require me to change some things. And so about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was doing my live trainings, I was charging. But then I started working with a coach, and it was a great program. And so just started implementing their strategy, and I was doing them for free. I decided to, do it. And it worked. It worked for years until it didn't work. And what I say, I'm not saying that the method doesn't work, because I still have friends, colleagues, and that particular coach who still does everything for free. It works for them. But when I began to look at my capacity, when I began to look at the type of clients that I wanted to attract, when I began to look at just where I wanted to go in my business, I decided that I wanted to do something different. And I'm not saying this for everybody, but what I'm saying for me, what I found is that I ended up with an email list full of what we call freebie seekers, right? People who will like to just sign up for things to snoop around, people who sign up for things, never show up for it, right? And in some cases, they just lack baseline um, prerequisites, and in some cases just didn't have the type of attitude of people that I wanted to work with. Not everybody, clearly, because I work with some great people now. But if I have, if I'm putting out ads or whatnot, and you know or if I'm promoting something and people are just signing up, but then they're not even clear on what they signed up for, because they just took it upon themselves to sign up for something without reading the details. I'm like, at the end of the day, in my 2x business, I don't want to work with people who don't pay attention to details, who sign up for stuff and then they don't know what they signed up for. Like any any high level leader pays attention to details. And they care about what they give their energy to. Like, let's just call it what it is, right? Let's just call it what it is. And so part of my 10xing was saying, hey, you know what? I like working with people who pay attention to detail. I don't like working with people who sign up for stuff and then they don't even know what they signed up for, because they just didn't read it. They weren't paying attention. So let me start making some shifts. And as I was preparing to come into 2025, I began going over some different things that I wanted to do. I said, oh, I want to host a monthly master class to nurture my audience. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I was going to charge for the master class. Y'all stay with me. Something different I was going to do. But I sat there and I started thinking, I said, well, hold up. I already do a monthly master class. Actually, it lasts for multi-days. I already have content. I already have a series of classes. But you know what? I wasn't charging for it. People were getting clarity. People were getting breakthroughs. I get emails almost every week of people saying, I attended your free workshop. I was able to get this level of clarity. I was able to finish my book. I generated $1,000 in pre-sales off of the free content. So I began asking myself, why would I sit here and create more stress on myself of trying to create new things, create new content, create the funnels that go with it, with the emails, the pages, the checkouts, all the Zooming, all of the back end stuff, right? When I already have something that I'm already doing, I'm great at it, people are getting results. I should just charge for that instead of reinventing the wheel. And so what I did, I made a decision to focus on simplicity instead of complexity. And that is one of the elements, or one of the things that I'm doing to 10x. Sometimes going to the next level doesn't mean that we need to do more. It doesn't mean that the work needs to be arduous. It just means that we need to do what we're doing in a different way. It means that we need to streamline. It means that we need to look for, how can I simplify this process? And how can I let go of the difficult or the complex? This requires a mindset shift. Hear me, because some of us, so many leaders have been taught that unless it's difficult, unless it's challenging, it's not going to work. And that is not the case. That is not the case. That literally is not the case. That's the case if you subscribe to that belief system. But once you begin to shift your belief system, then your actions need to follow and align with your beliefs. I hope this makes sense. So I want you, like, if growing, if elevating in your business, in your life this year is a goal, I want you to do some analyzing. I want you to do some assessing. And I want you to ask yourself, how can I simplify? For some of us, simplifying means we need to put life systems in place. This means that we need to schedule, we need to do things ahead of time by preparing and scheduling out. Some of us, that means that in order to simplify, we need to delegate more. This doesn't always mean we need to hire people that work in our business. For some of us, it means that we need to delegate in our lives. What can you delegate to someone else in your personal life so that you can put more energy towards some of the other things you want and need to do? Like, can you delegate grocery shopping? So instead of driving to the store, going through the store, going through checkout, coming back home, bringing it all in, unpacking it, can you delegate that to Instacart or Shipt or somewhere while you take while and let someone else handle that, and you pay the convenience fee and take a nap instead, or sit down somewhere and get some rest? Productivity does not always mean that you are actively physically doing more. For some of us, it can mean, oh, I'm going to take more moments to rest. I'm going to be intentional about how I can refresh and how I can rejuvenate myself. So, those are all some things that I'm doing as well. But listen, for some of us, for many of us, 10Xing means that you are being intentional with your time, with your efforts, and with your energy. You're not doing things at the last minute. You're not sitting there trying to shoot off of the hip and create on the go. You are putting aside the time to focus on your business so that you can grow and expand. For me, 10Xing also meant that I decided to stop doing free multi-day trainings. That's what it means for me. I decided to stop doing free multi-day trainings because, you know why? I realized that between my YouTube channel, between these live streams like the one that you're watching, between my podcast, published and paid podcast, shouts out to all the podcast listeners. We are going to go back live again starting in February. I took the month of January off to rest and get some things in order. But between those things, I give away tons of free content. Shouts out to 𝐏𝐻𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐞𝐝, who came and told me that he listened to an episode of the Published and Paid podcast, and he implemented the strategies that we talked about, and he made $10,000 from partnering with the school and selling a bulk order of books and a training. Shouts out. I'm like, you know what? If people are making 5 figures off of free content, you know, even my multi-day trainings that I do, my workshops that I do, my challenges and workshops, we've had people, numerous people that have come in and done things that they never have before in terms of amplifying their visibility, generating pre-sales for their books, actually making money, making media connects. I said, this deserves, like, for someone to get these type of results, this deserves an investment, not just for not a financial investment, not just for me, but for them. Because at this point, people are investing in themselves to get clarity. People are investing in themselves to get acceleration. People are investing in themselves in a way to get something that they haven't been able to get on their own, or either with or through other people. So part of my 10Xing was deciding and placing boundaries around what I was going to give for free and what I wasn't anymore, especially since we have the podcast, which is free. It's like literally high level content that people are using to get information and make real life mindset shifts. So I'm like, if you want me teaching every single day and you want to be able to, implement what I'm sharing in your business, no, there's an investment for that. So part of my 10X strategy was that I created boundaries around my effort, my energy. That's just what it is. And I realized, and I already knew it, but I'm like, you know what? People aren't making an investment in me. They're making an investment in them. And I remember when I was writing my book, when I was trying to figure out how to grow my business, I was looking for trainings. I was looking for classes that I could attend to, that I could, tune into, and if the live sessions were held at a time that I wasn't available, I was on watching the replays. I was hungry. And I was willing to do whatever was required to help me elevate to the next level. And you know what? I realized that in my 10X, I only want to work with the people who are, if they're tuning into the free, they're putting it into action. They're not afraid. And if they're in a place where they can make a financial investment, they're going to show up, they're going to do the work, whether they can tune in live or watch the replay. That's part of my 10X. Now, do I believe that free has a place? I absolutely believe that free has a place. I absolutely do. And there's a strategy around free, especially when you want to generate leads and things of that nature. But I believe that, especially particularly when you are in the building phase, there's a space for free. But I'm far beyond building, guys. I was like, you know what? I've been in business full time for myself since 2018. That's almost 7 years, 8 years. That's full time. Just been in business, we're talking about close to 10 years. I'm like, okay, Jazz, you've paid your dues, and people are getting results. So that, like I said, I believe that there's a space for free, but when you 10X, you got to remember and you have to acknowledge that where you are going is no longer, it's not where you were. And so some of you all, you need to 10X in your health. Some of you all, you need to 10X in your marriage. Some of you all, you need to 10X with your personal level of self-awareness and self-growth. Some of you all need to 10X in your relationships with your children. Some of you all need to 10X in your business. You've gone as far as you can go with watching all the YouTube videos and trying to do everything yourself, and you still are not in the space that you want to be. Well, now it's time to do something different. Now it's time to make several quantum leaps. So you got to do something different. You got to show up differently. You have to be willing to make some different investments. You got to be willing. And that's just not just a financial investment. That's also an investment of time, energy, effort, attention, all the things. And I'm saying this as somebody that's doing all of this. And I'm also in a doctoral program. Why? Because I am 10Xing. I'm doing the things that people are scared of doing. I'm doing the things that a lot of people don't want to do. I don't want to study all the time. I don't want to do these things, especially when I got a lot of stuff to do. But because I'm 10Xing, I understand that I'm not working on my right now, I'm working on my next. Because in a few years, my next is going to be my right now. And so I also understand that things don't just happen because you hope, you wish, and you pray for them to happen. They happen through intentionality. They happen through taking action. They happen through planning. You have to plan for your success and you've got to work at it every single day. So I want you tonight to think about the areas in which you need to elevate. What are those areas or those things that you've done that you have outgrown? And it literally has no space for you. Like there's no space for it in in the next version of yourself. There's no space for it in the next level of your life. What are those things that you've outgrown? What does that look like? And if you haven't taken time to about it, I really want you to sit down and think about it. What are those areas or what are those things, whether it's in your life, in your relationships, in your business, that you have outgrown, those mindsets, those actions, those habits, the schools of thought that you have subscribed to? And it really has no place in your 10x life. It has no place in your next level. And as you're working through doing the work to accomplish the goal, you are going to become your next level version of yourself. You are going to self publish. You are going to transform. There's a point when you have to grow, when what you've done previously no longer works. And you grow that stage. It might not be your business, but it's some area in your life. And I want you to think about what that is. And you know it and you feel it. And you know, with every fiber in you, with every fiber in your being, you know what? I really need to start doing this differently. I can't keep doing this like that. How many of y'all have said this to yourselves in the last 90 days? I know better. I know I need to do different. I can't keep doing X, Y, and Z. Man, I can't keep, allowing just giving money to my family members. I gotta stop. I gotta set some boundaries in place. I gotta start saying no. I gotta set some boundaries in place. I'm not gonna keep doing this in 2025. You know what? I don't feel good when I eat this. I know better. You go indulging in stuff and then you feeling bad after you eating it because you know that you need to do something different in order to 10x in that area of your life. Or you sitting down all day, you know that you need to go walking, you know you need to stretch, you know you need to work out. What is that thing for you? Some of y'all you know you need to stop fussing and yelling at your kids and you need to show up and communicate with them in a different way. Whatever that is for you. When you 10x, you've got to do it. Because what the habits and the mindsets and the belief systems that you have in your personal life, those things carry over and show up in your business some way, somehow. They show up in how you commit to yourself. They show up with how you commit to your endeavors. It matters. Like, and so since I'm charging for the multi-day workshops, like my clients, they can come for free because I give them a code. But for everyone else, I'm like, no, it's an investment because you got to invest in yourself. And I'm like, if I believe that this is my year to 10x, then my actions have to match my belief. That means that when you 10x, you got to let go of some things. That means when you 10x, you have to hold tighter to some things. You have to. You've got to. Okay? And I would say with 10X and those things, a hold tighter is to community. For me, I'm not getting rid of my coaches because I'm Xing. So I understand that in going to another level, there are some things that I have that I'm going to encounter that I'm unfamiliar with. And the Bible says that in a multitude of counselors, there is wisdom. I would be silly to sit here and say, I want a 10X, but I'm going to try to do this all by myself. It makes no sense. I'm going to say this for some of y'all who have a coach. You don't show up and maybe your schedule doesn't permit it, but you're not doing the work. That's not 10X behavior. It's not. 10X behavior isn't an I can do it all by myself mentality. 10X behavior isn't a I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing the way that I've been doing it, even though the way I've been doing it isn't getting me the results that I want. There's something that has to change. You're not going to 10X is all about making shifts so that you can make quantum leaps and believing that you are worthy of it and believing that you can do it and aligning with that thing and going all in. So some mindset shifts that I've had to make during this season is really staying focused and positive and seeing the process through, because the process isn't always easy. It's not always comfortable. Matter of fact, it's uncomfortable more than it's comfortable, because you have to sometimes do different things in a different way, or you got to do some different things altogether. Like me being in school, I'm thankful to be in the position to be in school, working on my doctorate, but I would really rather much be doing something else with my time. But I'm staying committed and staying focused and staying positive and seeing the process through. I've come too far. There have been some moments in my business. I'm seeing the process through. I'm staying the course because I'm believing bigger. That's what it is. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to pull back or any of that. No, I'm going to keep going. Mindset shifts is counting your wins, counting your personal wins, counting your personal wins, counting your client wins. How are the people that you're showing up for every single day? How has your influence been able to positively impact them? How is you showing up being able to positively add to someone else's life, career, business? This is when you need to start looking at back on things, because success leaves clues. So in those challenging moments or in those discouraging moments, you can look back on your wins. You can look back on things, moments in which you've been able to help people get to another level. And that should encourage you. It should help you to edify yourself and serve as motivation and encouragement for you to keep going. A mindset shift, and this is for those of you all who are already published authors, because I'm a published author. Sometimes in order to 10X, you got to create something new. And it's got to be created, not necessarily in a different way, but you got to create something new. So part of my 10X is expansion into different industries, expansion into different markets. And the books that I have right now that I've authored are not good enough to get me to my next level. I'm not even going to say that they're not good enough. They're not positioned. They're good, but they're not positioned to help me to 10X in a different industry. I've got to write a book for that industry. I've got to write a book for this audience, because I also understand that the works that we create, they are reflections of who we were at that time that we were going through the thing that we're talking about. And so a lot of my previous works I've outgrown. And I've also outgrown those audiences as well. So now when you want to break into a new audience, you want to create thought leadership in new industries. Oh, I've got to create a product for this industry. I've got to create a product that speaks to this person, and not just speaks to them, but gives them actionable advice. with how to overcome challenges that they have so that they can get quick results today when they read this. That's what it's about. 10Xing is going to require you to show up differently and to create some different things, especially when you want to expand. So the things that you were selling 5 years ago might not work in your 10X season. I can guarantee you they're not going to work in your 10X season, not the way that you were offering it. Am I saying that you got to create something totally new? I'm not saying that. You might have to, but in many cases you can take what you have and revamp it. In some cases you might have to create something new. In some cases you might be able to. Y'all ever seen new editions of books? That's because they took what they created and they revamped it and updated it. When was the last time that you updated anything that you created? In the knowledge economy, people have a misconception that they have to be on a hamster wheel of content creation. And they've got to create new classes, create new trainings, create new ebooks, and so they want these platforms that just let them have all these products and they just busy in Canva creating, and they're not selling nothing. No impact is being made. You're just creating. 10Xing is going to require you to focus. 10Xing is going to require you to streamline. It's going to require you to get crystal clear and laser focused and get rid of the fluff and focus in on that thing that you are the absolute best at. It's going to require you to show up differently. It's going to require you to make some decisions about yourself, your business, your brand, and your future. Another mindset shift is leaning all the way in and doubling down and doing the work while everybody else is distracted and leaning out. Y'all, I've been trying not to scroll as much over the past few days, but it doesn't matter whether it's been with Threads, YouTube, oh gosh, Facebook, Instagram, especially like the last couple weeks is this, like, and it can be very easy to go into a mental or psychological down spiral because of all of the stuff that's out there. And people are leaning out of their businesses. Fear is setting in. They're getting caught up in all of these debates online. You can feel however you want to feel. Champion the causes that are important to you. But what matters is not you having some type of verbal or a word match in the comment section. What matters is the work that you do every single day, day in and day out. This is your time to lean in and do the work while everybody else is leaning out because they're distracted. They're leaning out because things look a certain way. They're leaning out because they're all tied into their emotions. Let me tell you something. Millionaires I said it in 2020 in the pandemic. Millionaires are made in recessions. What looks like uncertain times can be economically uncertain times are actually economic explosive for people who stay in it. You know why? Because eventually the smoke is going to clear. And the people who stayed in it, the people who showed up consistently, the people who were visible, the people that you are going to be remembered much more so than somebody that couldn't decide whether they wanted to show up today or not because they were just too emotional about something. Lean all the way in because people are distracted, people are leaning out, but as thought leaders, we don't do what they do. We double down and we lean all the way in. So when you are 10Xing and when you are going to your next level, you also have to be prepared for the unexpected to occur. because you've got to know you've got to be ready for some things to happen. You've got to be ready for some unexpected disruption. You just got to know what's going to come. I got an email yesterday that really rocked me. And everybody that I told, it rocked them too. Because somebody, I'm not going to go into detail, but it rocked me. It wasn't a sad email. It was just somebody's 10Xing and they're making a change. And I was like, oh my gosh. Because I have like a 5-year relationship with this person. Unexpected disruption. I was in my feelings about it at first. And I said, okay, let me go ahead and tackle this. Let me go ahead and address this. Because when I'm 10Xing, I realized that distractions is going to come. Things are going to shift. And I'm not the only one that's 10Xing. Other people are too. And it requires you to show up differently. It requires you to show up better. So I had some interviews today, but I sent her, I counted her. I'm going to see what she says in the morning. I counted her. So we're going to see. But I said, hey, I respect whatever decision you make. But before I just accept this, how about this? How about this? Before I accept you walking away and stepping away because you're doing this and that, how about this? Have you thought about this? We're going to see what she says. Right? But either way, you got to handle everything in stride. When you're 10Xing, you've got to also have greater standards for yourself. And you got to determine how you're going to show up bigger, how you're going to show up better, and what type of shifts and transformation that's going to require of you and from you. It's an absolute necessity. When you're 10Xing, and because when it's not just the belief, it's the actions. And so when you start changing your actions to align with your belief, you can absolutely expect higher level connections. Higher level connections. I can't tell you the amount of connections that even though I work from home, the amount of connections that I've made over the past 2 weeks. And they've just been phenomenal. And even the number of people reaching out to do bespoke work, just one-on-one customized work, which are some of my higher packages. And I'm like, you know what? Me showing, because I believe, I show up in a different way. Or because I believe, I've always gotten dressed and stuff, but showing up in a different way is being more consistent. It's being more visible. It's making sure that you guys are getting these live streams and these podcasts and this content. I'm making sure that no matter what, you are going to see me next time. Next is going to be on other people's podcasts and in the media. Oh, 10X and all the way. We're talking about content flooding. But because I expanded my belief and because I made a decision and I expanded my belief and I followed it up with actions, I'm already beginning to see the payoff. And I want you all to really truly consider this in your life and in your business and with your book and your brand. So starting Monday, guys, I'm going to be teaching a 7-day workshop called Write Your Book, Grow Your Brand, Monetize Your Expertise. All right. If 2020, you know that this is for you. 2025 needs to be your year that you actually package your expertise, you package your intellectual property so that you can monetize it, so that you can sell it. And you're using your book as the cornerstone of that to expand your brand. I actually did a ticket price increase tonight. Admission is $47. VIP is $97. It's 7 days of live training. In case you cannot make it live, I'm going live every day on Zoom from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern. In the event that you cannot make it live, you have access to the replays until the final day. All right. So yes, can't make it live, you have access to the replay that night. It is a live workshop. Okay. And so if you are ready to write your thought leadership book, this is the book that you are going to use to get booked on stages. This is the book that you're going to use, as a part of your sales funnel. This is the book that you're going to use to create opportunities and generate clients. You want to expand your brand through podcasting, getting on other people's podcasts, creating your own podcast, getting featured in the media, and you want to make money from it. That's monetizing your expertise by transforming your book into courses, coaching programs, and more, and even learning how to effectively sell your book. Then you need to be at the workshop. You can comment brand down below. Or you can visit, if you're on Instagram, you can visit the link in my bio. It will take you right there. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, you can go to www, got to put the www there, www.𝐏𝐚𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐞𝐝/book and brand. www.𝐏𝐿MAC.com/book and brand. Ashley Jade, I see you here. I will DM you the link, but it's also on the link in my bio. Looking forward to seeing you there. Okay. Book and brand. We are working with the creme de la creme. And I'm excited to work with you all this year to help you accomplish your goals. All right. So thank you all so much for tuning in. If you found value in this, please send this to a friend of yours. Tag somebody under the replay, share this out with your audience. All right. And I will see you guys in the Write Your Book, Grow Your Brand, Monetize Your Expertise workshop. We kick off on Monday. See you guys soon.